So you're thinking about dating again after divorce, but where do you even start? How do you know if you're truly ready? And most importantly, what does God say about dating after divorce? Let's dive into the biblical wisdom that will help you navigate this new chapter confidently and with clarity. My name is Tabitha. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapy, and I bring you content every week about relationships and how to heal from your divorce if you have gone through one. Dating after divorce can be a very difficult thing to figure out because we begin asking ourselves if we're ready for that. We begin asking ourselves, what is the right way to do it? Some of us have not been in the dating realm or dating field for a while, and we're trying to figure out how to navigate that piece and how to get to a place where we can feel ready and actually know the steps to do and what to do and how to properly enter into the dating world once again after being married for whatever amount of years. So if this is you, you have landed in the right place, and I will give you information today on how to date again, how to know whether you're ready or not to date again, or if you're not ready, how to find out that you're not and how to actually get ready. So the first thing that you have to make sure that you do before you start dating again is making sure that you heal first. So many times people just jump into relationships after a divorce because they are trying to drown out the pain, because they are trying to find something to do with their time, and because they have no idea what the healing process should look like. If you have not healed, probably this video is not the right one for you. Go to my channel, find another video about how to heal from divorce. Take the step for that. Allow yourself to go through that healing process before you even start thinking about dating. Because what's going to happen if you do jump into dating before you are ready is that you are going to repeat some of the same things. And there, because you are entering into the relationship with open wounds, then that's going to create a lot of issues in your current relationship that would not have necessarily been there if, for example, you had taken the time to heal. God already promised that is going to trade you beauty for ashes, that is going to turn the bad and negative situation into something beautiful. But we have to be willing to remain in that in-between space so that we can be able to be transformed into the person that we need to be, so that we can then be able to accept the beauty that God is sending our way. And so oftentimes God will not send someone your way, one of his children your way, if you are not ready. Because when you have open wounds, you are more likely to hurt somebody else. You've heard of the phrase that says hurt people hurt people. So when you have open wounds, anything that somebody does, and instead of receiving it the way that it was intended to be received, you will begin to be triggered over and over again. And that will then allow you to then just fire back at that person, and you're gonna end up hurting them when pretty much the actions wasn't trying to hurt you overall. And if the wounds were healed and you were fine, certain things would not trigger you. Your triggers are pretty much an indication that the healing process is not completed within you, and therefore the actions of somebody else that's coming into your life is causing you to have a reaction. You want to be able to respond to things emotionally and not react emotionally. If you're finding yourself reacting over and over again, that may be an indication that you have not fully healed and that you need to take the time to do that. Basically, we need to take the time to grieve the past before we even start thinking about dating. You have to grieve the past relationship. You have to take the time to process your emotions that are associated with that. And the last thing is for that piece is that you have to be able to build your self-worth all over again. Sometimes when we get into a marriage, we tend to begin to fuse ourselves a little bit with the other person. sometimes some of us will lose ourselves. We will lose who we are. We would even forget some of the things that we enjoyed. Because if your marriage ended up in a divorce, most likely it'll mean that there was some type of compromise that happened on your end or on the other person's end that will cause you to somewhat lose yourself. And if that's not you, great, congratulations. But that may be the majority of us. That when we get into that marriage, we forget who we are. And sometimes that rediscovery of self is necessary before we even think about entering into a new relationship. So the next thing that I want you to keep in mind as you're thinking about dating again after divorce or entering into a new relationship is to understand God's design for relationships. He created us for community. So if you have the desire to be in a relationship, that's not necessarily a negative thing, but we have to be honest with ourselves and ask yourself this question. Am I seeking to date right now because I am lonely, or am I seeking to date because I feel ready? And I'm going to run through the characteristics of loneliness for you and the characteristics of readiness for you, so that you can gauge and figure out where you are, so that when you make that decision to go again and date, you're not dating because you're lonely, but you're dating because internally you feel ready to do so. So loneliness in dating, you feel empty without a partner. Most of the time, you believe that someone else will complete you rather than you enhancing your own life. You are waiting for that partner to come and rescue, to come and make you feel whole. Or some people would say, I can't wait to find my other half. Most of the time is because there is that emptiness that is inside of you, that instead of allowing God to fill that, which is why the wilderness, the singleness season is there between your marriage and your next relationship. It is for God to pretty much fill that empty void that is inside of you, so that you do not expect a partner to come in and fill it for you. And then most of the time, if you find that that's your reason why you wanting to date, it is because of loneliness. You're feeling that emptiness and you think a partner is what's going to come to pretty much enhance your life, where everything that you need is already inside of you and can be found in God. So take some time and go find that. The next thing that characterizes loneliness is that you're seeking a distraction from the pain. Some people jump from relationship to relationship. There are some clients that I've had in the past that they pretty much were comfortable jumping from relationship to relationship, that they never had a time to themselves to discover themselves and to figure out who they are, because they are pretty much escaping the pain. The pain is a good thing after a relationship. The pain is evidence that you cared about this relationship. The pain is evidence that you are human and that this thing that happened to you has an impact on you. So don't run away from it, and don't run into another dating relationship because you don't want to feel that pain. Because the moment you do that, you are putting yourself in a situation where you're going to end up feeling more pain, because those relationships, most of the time, those future relationships, they don't last, because that pain that's underneath always has a way of coming back up and impacting the person, because there's only for a limited amount of time that you can push it down. Eventually it'll rise up. You will either blow up, or you will have a reaction that is very intense, or you will end up hurting the other person. So if you find that you are jumping from relationship to avoid pain, it is because you are trying to escape from the grief and the heartbreak and unresolved trauma. And it is important that you take the time and heal that pain before you jump back into that relationship, so you don't do it because of loneliness. The next thing is that you have a fear of being alone. That is one that I could say that was true for me, that I had a fear of being alone because I was in my relationship from a very young age. And from there, I did not know how to be single. So that was scary for me to think of myself being single. So when I was divorced, it was really hard for me to learn how to then be alone, because I never imagined that that would be the case for me. So If you find yourself, when you think about you being alone, that you're feeling anxious, that you're feeling unworthy, that you're feeling incomplete when you're single, and you wanting to jump into a relationship because you don't want to be alone, you want somebody to do things with, it is time for you to spend some time and figure out the things that you like and figure out the things that make you happy. And being alone is how you figure that out. Being alone is how you discover the new things that you enjoy, the new things that you like. So don't jump in a relationship just because you fear being alone. Fear is okay for you to feel. Fear can be used as a fuel to go in the direction in your life that you want to go into, and it should not be something that is completely avoided at all costs. It's okay for you to sit in the fear and admit to yourself, hey, I'm afraid and I don't know what to do about this. This is new for me. I've never been alone before. I don't know how to be alone, but I'm going to do it. And with God, I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to be okay, because you have more resources hidden inside of you than you think you do. The next thing proves to you that you're dating because of loneliness is that you are okay to compromise your standards. You overlook your red flags, you settle for less, you go for things that don't align with your values. You tell yourself, I'm just having fun. You tell yourself it doesn't mean anything to me. You tell yourself, I don't want a relationship anyway. You tell yourself those things so that you can escape that loneliness. Be honest with yourself and recognize what is actually happening in the background of your mind, that you are dating because you are afraid of being alone, that you're afraid of being lonely. So you're compromising everything, and you recognize that it's not feeling good for you overall when you do these things, but you do it anyway, and you convince yourself over and over again that it's okay because, I just got a divorce. I'm not looking for something serious anyway. But it's okay if you're not looking for something serious, but it doesn't mean that you also need to expose yourself to compromising situations that are making your wounds worse, that are reinforcing the negative things that happen to you. But it's okay for you to take the time and protect yourself and protect your emotions, because when you are vulnerable, it's not a time for you to go engage in dating that's going to trigger you, that's going to put you in a situation where you're going to get hurt all over again. The next thing that is a characteristics of loneliness when you're dating is that you find that you're dependent on external validation and you are emotionally unstable. There is nothing wrong with having somebody call you beautiful, call you handsome, say something positive about you, and you feel good about it. But I want you to pay attention to whether or not attention, if you do not get it, then you don't feel good about yourself. That validation, that affirmation, if you do not get it from the other person, then you don't feel good about yourself. That's your indication that, oh man, you're dating because of loneliness and not necessarily because you feel ready to jump back into the dating pool. And then unstable emotions, if you're still having intense emotion from the past relationship, anger, sadness, resentment from that past relationship, and you find yourself just jumping into another one, that's an indication that you're dating from loneliness and not necessarily readiness. So the next thing is how to find out that you're ready to date, how to find out that you are ready to jump back into the dating pool and that you've healed, basically. If you see that you're content in your singleness, that you're able to spend time by yourself, that you enjoy your own company, that you can go out by yourself and have a meal. I always recommend that people go and have dates with Jesus, that you go and have dinners with him, that you go and talk to him about different things, that you go on a walk with him, and you pretty much going by yourself, but you have it, you have the idea that, this is my time to develop myself, and you're pretty much just content in your singleness, and you're not looking for somebody else to come and complete you. So the next thing that shows that you're ready is that as you have processed the pain from the past, you no longer hold bitterness, you no longer hold all of these intense emotions, and you pretty much are able to process and heal from the past. So there's intentional work that is required for that healing to actually happen. and you're clear with your relationship goals. You are absolutely clear on what it is that you want, what it is that you're seeking in a partner, what it is that you're seeking in a relationship, how you want that relationship to feel, as opposed to just accepting anything just to fill a void. You have emotional stability. You can manage stress. You can navigate difficult situations. You can get into arguments. You're not conflict avoidant. You are okay with disappointment, and you can address it. You can clearly communicate what it is that you want in the relationship, and you continue to grow without relying on a partner per se to fix you and to do the things that are necessary for you to feel whole and to become, I guess, who you need to be. And it is important that you are emotionally stable. And when you recognize that, that may mean that you are ready to enter into a new relationship. The next thing is that you are able to establish healthy boundaries. You can say no to the person when necessary. You won't compromise your values just because you want companionship. You won't just accept anybody, that you feel like you want to engage only with the people that are at your level, only with the people that you feel like you're really connecting with, the people that make you feel positive, not only about yourself, but positive overall. And the last thing is that shows that you're ready is that you have confidence in God's timing, that you trust that at the right time, that God will bring the person into your life. It doesn't mean that you stay home and do nothing about it, but there's not that intense anxiety that I need to be in a relationship tomorrow or else I'm not going to feel good about myself. That intense anxiety, you don't carry that. And you just allow yourself to trust God's timing in the midst of it all, because you know that He is really the one who is ordering your steps and allowing you to get to a place where you can meet the right person for you. And you know that God wants to give you that new person for you to share your life with overall. So readiness for dating is a prerequisite. The healing is a prerequisite before you jump into that. And when you do start dating, it is important for you to set proper boundaries with the person that you're dating. Sometimes because we've been hurt in past relationships, we begin to put up walls when we enter into a new relationship. And if we don't watch it, we can do so just automatically without even noticing that this is something that we are doing. But as you begin to date, you have to be able to identify, why did I react this way? Why did I do this when the person did that? Is it because there is something that is unhealed inside of me? Or it is because that's a red flag from the other person? And sometimes we become red flag detectors and we are finding faults in the other person over and over again when we really are being triggered because there is a part of us that is not completely healed. But when we become red flag detectors, we are just focusing on the negative and we don't see much of the positive that is happening in the person. So when you see something and when you feel a certain way about it in a new relationship after you've gone through a divorce, ask yourself, is this a red flag, or is this me that has put up a wall that is trying to protect myself and I'm being triggered by something? So the solution to that is, as we try to set proper boundaries, because the walls that we put up are not only protecting us against negative things, they are also keeping out the positive things. We want to allow ourselves to put a gate up instead of a wall. And how you do that is that a gate is able to come up and down and allows you to determine whether it is something that you will get allowed to access you emotionally, or if it is something that you need to keep out. And what a gate does, when it does come up, you can let in the positive, you can let in the good things, you can let in criticism that's gonna help you continue your healing process and not feel hurt by it and not feel like the person is pointing fingers at you and is not on your side and trying to help you get better. Instead of having just walls there that are just protecting us against anything that seems to be threatening to us. So we have to also get clear on what our boundaries are when we do start dating. Your boundaries have to be clear. You have to take some time before you even get into a relationship to figure out what is it that you want this relationship to look like. Physically, what are your boundaries? Emotionally, what are the boundaries that you want to set in space? Spiritually, what are the things that are important for you to be present in that relationship so that you can be able to clearly communicate to the person, these are my expectations. These are the boundaries that I have. These are the things that are deal breakers for me. These are the things that I can deal with. And as you write them down, you will also recognize if you are a red flag detector or whether your boundaries are healthy. Healthy boundaries are very clear, but they are not super rigid to the point where you're inflexible. You are not willing to learn from the other person. You're not willing to accept criticism, and you can't pretty much just take jokes about yourself from the other person as well. So we have to be mindful of all of that as we think about entering in a relationship. And we need to be mindful of the green flags as well. So many times when we've been hurt in past relationships, we focus on the red flags in order to protect ourselves. But you have to be able to pay attention. How is this person actually making me feel? Is this person making me feel safe? Is there, do I feel comfortable talking to them? Are there positive things happening there as well? And we need to be also green flag detectors so that we can be able to identify the positive and good things that are happening within a relationship and fully be able to take them in as well. We have to allow God to guide our steps when we're thinking about dating, because we could make the choice for ourselves. We could decide based on my values, based on the things that I want, and God will allow us to make the choice for ourselves, because I don't believe that God chooses a partner for us. But if we slow down and we ask Him and we pray when we meet people and ask God to reveal the person's heart towards us, then it'll be easier, and it will allow us to avoid a lot of heartbreak when we do meet someone and when we do allow them into our lives. So ask God if this person is right for you and listen for the answer. So many times we ask Him and then we go and make the choice ourselves anyway. But you have to ask and actually listen for the answer that He gives you. That happened to me recently. There was someone that I was talking to, and I paused and I'm like, God, just show me who this person is. And the same night I had a dream and God showed me exactly what was going on there, which allowed me to make the decision to kind of like pull away from this person because they were not pretty much at the same level that I was at. And it was not the right person for me. Sometimes we think that we can just settle for what feels good, for what is good. Oh, this person is good. This person has this person is a Christian. This person has all of these things. But just because someone is good or just because someone could be a good partner doesn't mean that they're the right partner for you. And there are people that are right for you, but we have to be willing to be open and listen to what it is that God is saying to us when we do ask Him about the people that we meet when we're thinking about dating after divorce. And find someone that has good character. Find someone that aligns with that whose values align with yours, because that's extremely important. If you don't find someone whom you are equally yoked with, you are going to find yourself in the same situation over and over again. And if a relationship is healthy, you will be able to recognize that. You will be able to know, because if you have been in unhealthy situationships before, you will know the difference when something feels healthy. And just because it feels healthy, it doesn't mean that you should expect yourself to just stay in it. There are some people that automatically sabotage themselves when they encounter something good, because they are so used to the bad. They are so used to someone mistreating them that when someone treats them right, they also want to run away. So watch for that as well, because that can be an indication for you that you have not fully healed and that you need to take some time to increase your capacity to receive the good. God's heart for you is for you to be in a loving, healthy relationship that reflects His heart towards you, that reflects how He feels about you, that reflects His love towards you. And if He wants you to find that, you have everything inside to be able to get yourself to a place where you have healed, and so that you can receive this gift that He's already willing and ready to give you. but it has to happen at the right time. So don't rush it. Don't push yourself to do it too quickly, to move too fast, but allow God to direct your steps. Allow God to guide your steps so that you can be able to meet the person at the right time that you need to, and so that you can be able to share the life, a relationship, and a future with that person. I hope this video has been helpful for you. If you have not yet, like this video if you like it, and subscribe to this channel to get more tips on how to heal from divorce, but also how to create and develop healthy and wholesome relationships in the future. Because what happened to you is not the end, but your future can be a lot brighter if you do take the time to partner with God to heal and to allow yourself to activate this new chapter that God is already excited for you to activate within your life. I will see you in the next video.